The Fall of the Wisdom Goddess by John Lamb-Lash. Here in a 9-part synopsis is one version of the sacred myth of Sophia, the fallen goddess of the pagan mysteries. The fallen goddess scenario is not the invention of this author, John Lash. It is his reconstruction of a mythic narrative developed by ancient seers who applied it as a vision story for guiding humanity to evolve interactively with the living planet Gaia. The author John Lash considered this complex narrative to be the singular and paramount explanation of cosmic purpose, produced by human imagination, truly a myth to guide the species. My recovery and reconstruction of the fallen goddess scenario is the only full and coherent version of the Sophianic vision story of the mysteries to be presented by any scholar, yet it is still not complete. 3 key elements of the myth are missing: the creation of the moon, the separation of the sexes of Anthropos, human genome, and the arrival of the hunters from Orion, the first men to inhabit the earth, which was at that time exclusively populated by women. In its received form, the Sophianic vision story falls into the genre of astral theogony, an account of celestial events, including the intentions, feelings, and actions of cosmic forces, conceived as gods and goddesses. The following version demonstrates one possible way to render the myth, namely by placing it in an astronomical framework, thus perhaps making it more accessible to the modern mindset. This is not the only way to tell the myth, but after long consideration I'm convinced it may be the optimal way to introduce the Sophianic vision of the mysteries to the 21st century. This sacred narrative is the sole planetary myth in the world that describes the origin of the solar system, the Earth, and the human species, and situates all this in a galactic perspective. Be it understood that the myth need not be fantasy or falsity, but a veracious way of describing events of cosmic scope, including the galaxy where the Earth is located. Sophia is the astrotheological term for a power surge from the galactic core that impacted the rotating arms. The fall of the goddess is an eruption from that core. This is an animistic myth, attributing the equivalent of emotion, ideation, and intention to the cosmic energies of the galaxy, imaginatively realized as gods and goddesses. I addressed the predictable objections to cosmic animism in a related essay. Not in His Image contains both a short synopsis and, in another rendering, a full expansion of the 9 episodes. The Gaia mythos is an attempt to render the narrative in a mythopoetic form as a prose poem, but incomplete with 11 episodes of 16 online. The Sophia myth in astronomical idiom. 1. In the galactic core. At a certain moment in eternal becoming, a singularity arises in the core of one galaxy among countless galaxies in the universe. This singularity is a spontaneous rush of new potential, totally unconditioned and undefined. It emerges from that one universal source, which is the eternal dwell point of every galaxy, but in each galaxy standing unique so that originality can manifest through the universe. In each galaxy, the originator is the all-pervading presence, greater than any god, any single divine entity. It stands beyond time and space and matter, yet it comes to expression time and time again through the pleroma, the central vortex of a particular galaxy. Within the pleroma dwell the aggregate of cosmic gods, energy waves of the galactic dimension. They circulate around the core, massive currents of living luminosity, thriving with sound, odor, even taste. Their form is a serpentine, torrential streaming, their substance a nugget-like mass of self-generating luminosity. These pleromic currents receive the singularity of pure potential from the originator and spin it into expression. They convert the formless seed of originality into a standing wave design that can eventually appear in space, time and matter beyond the galactic core. The originator imposes nothing on these cosmic designing powers, the generators, or aeons. The singularity it releases to them is an undefined potential for novelty, without signature, non-encoded. It has no pre-designed structure. It is pure, unconditioned possibility. The singularity is like a vast but infinitely soft tremor that erupts from the galactic core and spreads through the coral waves of the pleroma, the aggregate of aeonic torrents. In every case when a singularity emerges in the galactic core, it comes to be designed differently by the aeons of each galaxy, who are infinitely creative, innovative and playful. Once designed, the singularity can be projected from the core into the outlying region of the limbs, the spiral arms circulating around the core. This region is the realm of infinite potential, the kenoma, contrasted to the infinite potential of the pleroma, matrix of the generators. The spiral arms are regions of constant activity. Like a mill wheel, they grind out stars, planets, comets and asteroids from the grist remaining of previous galaxies. The dima, the dense elementary matter arrays of the spiral arms, are chaotic and inorganic, consisting of atomic matter and even finer substances, mere quantum foam. Yet the dima has self-organizing powers of a sort, so that it can form and reform itself plastically into the scaffolding and groundwork of many world systems. The endless reworking of matter in the spiral arms is subject to the mill-like mechanism of involution, including mass-bound attraction-repulsion and differential rotation, forces that are entirely absent in the galactic core. Two, a singularity encoded. The nougat-like mass of the galactic core pulses with the dance of alternating currents, gendered energies. The male currents stream through the pleromic mass with an anchoring action, like filaments extruding from a sieve. The female currents stream with an expulsive power that hollows out the way before them. Anchoring and decoring are the constant gender expressions of the generators. In one particular galaxy, a singularity from the originator is received by two aeons with the equivalent of gender, female and male. The aeon Sophia and her counterpart, the aeon Thelete. This name means the intended or free will. In a tandem activity, these two balance the singularity between them and dance it into a particular design. Each generator is an energetic wave with inherent properties and characteristics. As a current moving along optical fibers can carry signals, so do these waveforms carry vast arrays of configurated impulses. The receiving aeons impart to the singularity a select combination of their attributes, making a unique design, never before manifested. By their combined activity, they imbue the singularity with a set of inherent properties derived from their own impulses. They encode its pure potential with definite properties that can unfold in a distinctive way when provided with the world system as a setting for those properties. In this instance, Sophia and Thelete design a life form, the template of a species, the Anthropos. The specific configuration of the Anthropos is an expression of the creative vision of the cosmic dyad, the pair of generators. The human genome originates in a dance of cosmic energies in the galactic core. Three, projecting the Anthropos. With creative dance of Sophia and Thelete completed, the singularity is configured and ready to be released. In a collective act of emanation, all the aeons circulating the galactic core merge their currents to form a lattice, like a holographic plate. Using the lattice as a lens, the pleromic aeons in their entirety project the Anthropos into the outer realm beyond the bounding membrane of the galactic nucleus. Out there is the Kenoma, the zone of dark elementary matter arrays, Dima, swirling in the immense carousel of the spiral arms. The encoded singularity will be seeded in the Dima, where new worlds are constantly arising, so that the Anthropos can have a habitat, a world of its own, in which to unfold its singular potential. Many strains of humanity can emerge from the template so projected, and there are many world systems rising and dissolving in the galactic limbs, providing ample opportunity for these strains to take root and develop. Imagine a hollow stalk of light in the form of an immense opalescent shaft with a genomic design within it. The genomic template of humanity is a stereomorphic projection into the outer regions of the galaxy, remaining within the boundary of the galactic core. The aeons inject the pre-designed genome into the outer realms of the galaxy, as if through a glass tube or pipette. Acting in unison, the generators implant the potential novelty of the human species in the carousel arms, like a fertilized ovum implanted in the wall of the uterus. For the aeons, this projection of the anthropic template, designed by Sophia and Galactic, is the first moment of a divine experiment. From the galactic center, they will observe how the human strain propagates and unfolds its novel potential in many worlds. Their acts of projection may be compared to dreaming, rather than to biological reproduction of offspring by two parents, or artificial creation, like a potter spinning a pot. It is a process of emanation, not creation. Humanity is not the progeny of divine beings, made in their image, but the expression of the divine imagination of the generators, who design and project cosmic singularities into free-form manifestation in a myriad worlds. The pleromic aeons project the Anthropos into the galactic limbs with a precise target intention of location. They embed the template for incubation in a molecular cloud or galactic nebula in the third spiral arm, counting outwards. The fertile moisture of the nebula is the ideal medium for nesting the new life complex. This done, the generators withdraw their projective action, pull back to observe in detachment what happens next. Energetically, the generators do not exceed the boundaries of the pleroma, the matrix of infinite potential. They remain within the boundary of the nucleus, yet they observe and sense what lies beyond it in the kenoma, the matrix of finite potential. The delight of the aeons is to behold the spontaneous arising and dissolving of myriad worlds, and to divine the adventures of the creatures that emerge in those worlds. To do this, they use a kind of cosmic empathy that does not require that they enter or intervene in the worlds they witness. Aeons are sentient, feeling intensively and responding to what they observe, yet remaining detached. The cosmic gods are impartial. They do not impose their intention for an outcome on any experiment unfolding in the galactic limbs. Above all, they do not enter directly into the experiments they have designed and set in motion by externalization in the spiral arms. Not usually, anyway. But at a certain moment, one generator in the aggregate of this particular galaxy responds more keenly than the others to the sight of the Anthropos template nesting in the molecular cloud of Orion. While the other Aeons hold back, the one called Sophia senses an unusual stirring of her currents. The cosmic equivalent of desire draws her right up to the boundary of the pleroma, where she lingers. The Aeon Sophia feels a profound, unsettling attraction to what she beholds. She is captured by total fascination for how the Anthropos will evolve and manifest its unique potential. Drawing her currents away from the general aggregation, Sophia muses about the world to come, where the human singularity will emerge and thrive. She empathizes intensely with the human creature that will appear in the divine experiment now underway. As one of the Aeons who configured the genome, she takes an unusual interest in its future development, and she do that unilaterally, without consulting with her counterpart Thelete. This is unusual behavior for a generator, transgressing the norm. But it is within the freedom allowed by the originator that such developments can arise. The Aeon Sophia now formulates her own act of projective dreaming, centered on the glittering template suspended in the spiral arms. Independent of the other Aeons, this torrential waveform dreams on her own about what might happen to a strain of the Anthropos. In her freedom, Sophia is impetuous, daring. She goes much farther than Aeons usually do to anticipate how a certain experiment might play out. She idolizes the situation, picturing a three-body system, star, planet, moon, where a strain of the Anthropos would have optimal opportunity to discover and develop its encoded talents, even to achieve works of genius. Sophia is tremendously excited by these prospects of the divine experiment that has only now been seeded in the Kenoma, the matrix of finite potential. Four. Cosmic Power Search. Totally enthralled in her solitary view, and ever more detached from the other generators in the pleroma, Sophia previsions a world yet to be, where humanity will emerge to live, learn, and love. The sight of the Anthropos nested in the nebular cloud engages her divine powers of dreaming in an unusual way, with exceptionally intense involvement. Rather than leave this cosmic novelty to mature and unfold on its own, according to the instructions encoded within it, the pleramic current, whose signature is wisdom, succumbs to strange attraction. Sophia is deeply compelled to get involved in an experiment with the strain of the Anthropos. With exquisite slowness, Sophia's longing pulls her precariously close to the porous bounding membrane of the pleroma, the outer rim of the galactic core. Her desire follows the path taken by the Anthropos out into the Dima, the chaotic flux of elementary matter in the spiral arms. Compelled by the excitement of what might happen out there, this Aeon is gradually pulled away from the core until the moment she plunges out and away. Like a slow-motion waterfall twisted into a torrential braid, the Aeon Sophia spirals downward toward the object of her own desire. The currents that compose her energetic form distend into a massive power spike, a tongue of pearl-white luminosity leaping from the pleroma, shooting light years into the exterior regions. The wisdom goddess falls out of the galactic center. The composite luminosity of an aeon, a pleramic god or goddess, may be called organic light, because it is organically responsive and capable of intention, like an animal. This divine luminosity has two specific but oddly contrasting properties. It is mass-free and infinite in density. Sophia's fall produces a plume of organic light, extending from the galactic core in the third limb of the carousel arms, where the Orion Nebula is located. There it reaches the place where the genomic template of the human species is nested, like a pattern of dew points on a spider's web.